Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about Dungeons and Dragons, and we're going to talk about the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. And just based on the shape of what I'm going to be talking about today, there's no spoilers for the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare in this, so let's get cracking. So I want to take a look at the film, The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare, and talk about the aspects that are important to every dungeon master and every dragon master. When I say dragon master, I mean Dungeons and Dragons player. And what's really interesting is, okay, really fascinating. I'm so fascinated with the 50th anniversary of Dungeons and Dragons. It really is a massive change, right? And it is this springboard, right? We're celebrating 50 years past, but we're also celebrating 50 years forward, right? Like, what will the next 50 years of Dungeons and Dragons will be like? And so in the first 50 years, we had the core four. We had the wizard, the fighter, the cleric, and the rogue, right? And but now that was in the first 50 years. But now moving into the second 50 years, we're starting to move to the adventuring party of five, right? So we have the dungeon master. You always only have one of those. Dungeon master is special. They craft the story. They set the parameters of the story. They start the ball rolling, and they move it into the space of the dragon masters, the five players, right? And why are we moving to five players? Well, in 1993, Magic the Gathering came into scope of Dungeons and Dragons. It was bought by Peter Adkison. It was actually put into position by Peter Adkison, and literally the moment he realized he had a winner on his hands and that they were going to start to rake in millions and millions and millions of dollars, the moment that Magic the Gathering was popping, immediately Peter Adkison's got millions of dollars coming in. What did he want to buy? Did he want to buy a mansion? Did he want to buy a yacht? No, he wanted Dungeons and Dragons, and he got it. Right? Lorraine Williams had been building value into Dungeons and Dragons from 1986 all the way to 1997, and she handed it over for, I think it was $60 million. Peter Adkison bought the Dungeons and Dragons for $60 million from Lorraine Williams, and from that moment forward, Magic the Gathering and Dungeons and Dragons began to intertwine themselves, right? And now Dungeons and Dragons is permanently and forever intertwined with Magic the Gathering. They are one product. They are merged. They are fused. They are one, right? Ravnica, Theros, Strixhaven. Strixhaven's the most important, right? And and literally Baldur's Gate, Adventures in Forgotten Realms. There's even massive Dungeons and Dragons and Magic the Gathering crossover, all pointed toward Dungeons and Dragons in the Middle Earth Lord of the Rings set. Secret Lairs, it's everything. Dungeons and Dragons is permanently woven into Magic the Gathering, and Magic the Gathering is permanently woven into Dungeons and Dragons. And the biggest thing you see there is the five Dragon Masters. The players now going to five people around the table: the red, the white, the blue, the red Dragon Master, the white Dragon Master, the blue Dragon Master, the green Dragon Master, the black Dragon Master. Five players, five player characters. It's the new shape of Dungeons and Dragons, right? Appreciate your patience. And what we see when we look at the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare, why are there five people at the table, at every Dungeons and Dragons table that is moving toward modern canon? Why are there five? Why are there five Dragon Masters now, right? Well, I think the reason why is that is the shape of the adventuring party, and you could see that in the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare, and it is intimately, and the picture that is painted in the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare is incredibly profound. Really, really astonishing. So let's talk it through, right? The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare is a movie based on the declassified files of Winston Churchill. And in 2016, right? Almost 80 years. These files were classified for 80 years. The story had to remain secret. And why did the story have to remain secret? Because the U.S. was able to join the war and send literally thousands of boats across the sea, and they were able to get there to Europe to help put down, the most villainous murderer of their time, Hitler, right? Our villainous murderer today is Vladimir Putin. It's the same guy, just from a different country, right? Same type of murderous, like bloodlust. It's the same, right? We had a villain back then, we got a villain now, right? Like it's the same thing, right? So, but what's really incredible, right, is you have this situation where Winston Churchill had to deal with the U-boats, right? So Germany had completed the submarine, and these submarines could just sink ships left and right, and there was nothing that could stop them. So, Winston Churchill told his armies, get this done. I need these U-boats finished. Shoot them out of the sea, stop this. And the army failed. But his adventuring party, five soldiers, red, white, blue, green, black, an adventuring party. In order to stop the U-boats, five men, an adventuring party, stopped the U-boats, right? An adventuring party was able to do what an army couldn't. And that is the story we tell every week, right? We gather and we tell the stories of hyper-capable men and women. We tell the stories of hyper-motivated men and women. And I think that's what's beautiful about the ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. By the way, 5 out of 5-star film. Henry Cavill is amazing. Isa Gonzalez, amazing. And Alan Richardson, man, you have got to see this film. It is spectacular. It is extremely, extremely good film. Also, the performance by he played Jameis in Dune. Another spectacular performance, just really, really good. He also played the Doctor in the new Star Trek, Strange New Worlds. Fantastic actor, really, really excellent. All right, so I highly recommend this film, but it is every Dungeon Master content because it really shows the power of an adventuring party and how a single group of 5 hyper-capable, hyper-motivated men and women can be more powerful than an army of 5 million. It really, really was astounding. Absolutely an amazing depiction of an adventuring party in this film. And you could see, and it also is helpful to just see how the different roles play their part. And also what leadership looks like and what teamwork looks like. And also, this was shown in the film. These were quite literally men who would not obey orders, but they would follow someone they respected, right? And when we are playing hyper-capable, hyper-motivated reapers at the table, right, it's interesting to understand the power dynamics, and this film really helps to do that, right? The other thing that's very interesting is speed to table. So I want to talk about this. So this file was declassified in 2016. We're watching this movie in 2024, and that's with a pandemic in place, right? So Great Pandy happened in 2021. You could count, and 2022. That's 3 years out, which means that Hollywood got this movie to screen within 5 years. They were extremely fast in getting this story out. And what I think is really exciting is with Dungeons & Dragons, we have this really exciting opportunity where we can do an excellent job of telling stories in spaces that are usually out of bounds, right? And that stories cannot be told quickly from. So Hollywood, it took them 5 years the great thing is whenever there's a new exciting intellectual property that is coming forward, the rest of the world has to wait for that to hit screen. Whenever there's new information that needs to be explored, whenever there's new stories that can be expanded, right, can be explored through interaction with Dungeons and Dragons, we can bring those stories to table in 5 days. Hollywood takes 5 years, but with Dungeons and Dragons, we can bring a story to the table and have a presenter and 5 experiencers within 5 days. It is what we have is truly incredible. So I am glad that Hollywood moved quickly on this and did a good job. But I do think it's very interesting that while it takes Hollywood 5 years, with Dungeons and Dragons, we can bring these stories to the table within 5 days, right? So 5 days, 5 adventurers, 5 Dragon Masters, and we truly are transitioning from the core 4 to the adventuring party of 5. And I think that is inspired by what happened in World War II. Every single word you just heard is my humble opinion. It is definitely my humble opinion that you should see this film immediately. For Henry Cavill, for Alan Ritchson, for Eliza Gonzalez, for the guy who played Jameis and the Doctor on Star Trek. Fantastic film. Definitely don't miss this if you're a Dungeon Master. This is extremely good storytelling. You're going to walk away with some narrative tools. You're going to walk away with inspiration. Every single word you just heard is my humble opinion, nothing more, nothing less. What's important is when I get to hear your humble opinion, when you get in the comments and send your traffic. Please consider like and subscribing, and have a fetch millennium.